Hey everybody, Robert from Black Belt Gaming. Doom the board game. This is the Learn to Play manual. As you can see here, the board was pretty much set up already during my last video. This is the tutorial mission. You can find this in the Learn to Play booklet. It tells you how to assemble the map. You need to assign the roles. Basically, that's choosing who's going to be the invader and who is going to play the Marines. For this game, of course, it's just me, so I'm going to be playing both sides. Alright, I think I'm going to activate my imps first. Those are the little guys up there in the upper left-hand corner of the map. You see their card here. What we have with the 4 here is their speed. The next number 4 is the range of their attack. And then 3 is the number of basically health points they have. So looking at the Marine, I think I want these guys to be sort of like they were in the video game, which is sort of attack and then try to move into a safe zone or safe spot somewhere. So I think when you're activating a particular group, you'll get ready to exhaust the card, which is turn it sideways. I'm just going to put it here now so that it's within view. And let's start and see if we can get some attacks going and then maybe have these guys dance away a little bit. They have a special ability that we can make use of right away. It's called Hit and Run. If you can see that on the card, it says after you perform an attack, gain 2 movement points. And I believe we can make use of these movement points in any order. So I don't think you move and then when you stop moving, you lose all the rest of your points. I think you can try to move as many spaces as you can until you're finished activating that particular figure. Hopefully that made sense. But I'm going to start with this guy right in the front here. If we count the spaces that he is from the Marine, just counting the squares here, we've got 1. Is that a wall? I'm going to try to zoom in on my map a little bit here and see. Get a little closer. It does kind of look like that's a corner of a room, and it must be a wall. So I don't think that he can attack through there. He's going to have to move up and then attack and then try to dance back away and get out of range. So he's going to have to spend 2 movement points. I guess we could go 1, 2 and get him right there. And then we need to determine if he has a clear line of sight. And all that requires in this tutorial is we draw a line from one corner, and if it can touch a corner of the Marine's space uninterrupted or unblocked, then he can make the attack. And otherwise it does nothing else. You either have a shot or you don't. So there's no cover rules for the basic tutorial here. So he's got a shot right now. So what does he do to make his attack? Well, he's within range, and we're going to make an attack using that small, not the charged fireball, but just sort of a basic flame attack. And we see here 2 red squares. That's going to mean we're going to be rolling 2 red dice. So I think the black dice are better than the red. There's no defense dice in this game. We're going to see what happens with that in just a moment, but let's see what kind of attack we make here by rolling the 2 red dice. It's basically going to tell us how many points of damage we inflict on the Marine. So we've rolled that, and we've got a total of 3. Looking at the dice here, what kind of results could we get? Looks like 1, 1, 1, nothing. 2, 2. All right, 1, 1, 1, nothing, 2, 2. We've got most likely to get another 1 rolled, but there is a chance we could get a 2. So what I'm going to do is play one of these event cards called Demonic Precision. And it says I can play this card when a demon is attacking and re-roll any number of dice. So after I play this card, it goes into the discard pile. And I'm going to re-roll that 1 and see if I can get anything better. And I didn't. Ended up with the same. So that's 3 damage to the Marine. The Marine has his deck, and he starts with a hand of 3 cards. So we'll take that out. This is his deck as it's sitting, his draw deck right now, as it's sitting on the table. We got to see if he can block, dodge, or absorb any of this damage. So we turn the top card over, and we look for a shield icon, and we have 1 there. This card is now considered a discard, and I've just put that just below the Marine's main character card, right here. With a 1, that's going to cancel the 1 damage, so our Marine just took 2 points of damage, and when he gets to 10, he is fragged. And if we can take him out, then the invaders are going to get this frag token. And if they get a certain number of frag tokens, they're going to win the game. How many do they need? The tutorial book does tell us. It's right here in the section called End of the Mission. And it says that the Marines have to clear the map, but the invaders, if you're fighting 1 Marine, you're going to have to frag him 4 times to take him out. So they've got a lot of work to do. That's what I mean. It's going to be pretty tough for them to do this, but I'll fight as hard as I can to do it. So we hit the Marine for 2, and we still had 2 movement left. So let's go back to the map. All right, our imp number 1 is there. He's got 2 movement points left, but he's also just earned some extra movement. If you see here with his hit and run, after he performs an attack, he gets 2 more points. So that allows him to get possibly even further away. So he's back up to 4. We need to get out of the line of sight of the Marine, and maybe we need to anticipate how many spaces he might move. We're probably going to guess about 4 might be average for him too. So where could he go? We kind of have a small enclosed area. By the way, there is a door here, and according to the rules in the tutorial, the demons right now cannot open these doors. Only the Marine can. And the Marine has to open the door by spending 1 movement point. So the doors are going to remain shut. Let's have him move maybe down the hall a little bit. If we move him here 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to have him move all the way back down there, sort of finding comfort between the other soldiers there in the hallway. So that's our first imp. He's taken his actions. Now I'm going to do something here that didn't come with the game, but it's going to help me keep track of these different demons on the board. And I thought what I would do is just put a little counter there, a number 1 on its base, so that I can track any damage that it might take. So I have another little 1 counter down here, and as it starts to take some damage, I might associate that damage there with demon number 1. It's just going to make it a little less cluttered for me. What you're technically supposed to do, these came from Dungeon Command, a different game, but really what you're supposed to do as he starts taking damage, you just put these little counters next to him on the board. But that can get a little busy, and you have to keep moving those around. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm just going to experiment here with numbering the different demons and keeping track of their damage just a little differently. Alright, so back to the board. We see demon number 2 in the upper left corner, and we want to activate him. He's also going to start with a movement of 4, so he needs to move within line of sight. So we'll move him forward 1, 2, 3, sort of the same space actually, and he's going to make a similar attack, and it's going to be with the 2 red dice. And I don't know if I have any cards I particularly want to use at this point in time. I may save some of these for my soldiers. Let's go ahead and make an attack here and just see how the imp does on his own. 2 red attack dice. We'll drop them right here on the board. Same results. We've got a 3. I'm not going to do any re-rolls. So now we need to choose the defense card for the Marine. This is off the top of the deck. And we have this special symbol here. It kind of looks like a, not exactly a shield, but sort of a figure with a line through it. I believe that that means that that's a complete dodge. I believe that negates all damage whatsoever. I think that's the best result that you can get. So if we go to our Learn to Play book, and we go to some of these results here, yes, we see it right here. The dodge icon cancels all damage. So our Marine was pretty quick to lean back and let that fire sort of singe the corner there. He's made his attack. What did he spend? 1, 2, 3 movement to get there? He's just made his attack, so that's going to give him 2 more. So he's got 3 movement to get to some cover. Why don't we have him... I want to keep these imps sort of separated so that we don't have any damage kind of coming in together. I think some of the shotgun cards can... It's not really splash damage, but I think they can damage some targets adjacent to your main target, so due to a scatter effect from the shotgun blast. So I'm going to have him move 1, 2 spaces and sort of tuck in this corner back over here. And then that takes us to demon number 3. 4 movement. You see on the board there, there's a blue dotted line around. It's probably a rifle or some sort of discarded weapon. It's probably a table or a crate. That is, I think, difficult terrain. And right now that's not blocking line of sight, but it takes an extra point of movement to enter that space. So we can just as easily move around it. Let's move him up. We'll give him 1, 2, 3, 4, our imp's favorite attack spot. And there is a card that I want to show you here. Explosive Blast. I'm playing with a single Marine, and Explosive Blast says you play this card after a demon performs an attack targeting a non-adjacent figure. So you can't attack the Marine that's standing right next to you. Roll 1 red die. Each figure adjacent to the defender suffers 1 damage for each damage rolled. I think what I'm going to do to sort of increase the difficulty on myself here is to let this be just extra damage to the single Marine. So normally this would be a little harder to play. You would need to make sure you had some Marines closer together. But since we're going to need so many frags to bring down 1 Marine, I'm going to let this be just an extra red die rolled for damage. So I might play that. Let's let our imp number 3 make the attack. We're talking 2 red dice again, and we've got a result of 2. And I think we're going to go ahead and play the explosive damage card. So I'm going to put that in the discard. And not exactly 100% by the rules, but I've explained why and what I'm doing. And we got a third. So total of 3 points of damage on the Marine. Let's draw his card. And he's got 2. So he's going to subtract 2 of those. But that still allows 1 to get through. So we're going to exchange those 2. And our Marine has taken a total of 3 damage from his 10. So not a bad start for the imps. We need to let this imp get away. He moved 1, 2, 3, 4. I think he moved 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. After his attack, he's granted 2 more movement points. So let's see if he can get in cover somewhere. I'll zoom in just a little bit so you can see the tile better. Where could he go? He could try to go around that corner. Just 2 spaces away. Maybe back. Not the best situation for him. He might be the most exposed. We'll move him back 1 and 2 so that he's not adjacent to anybody else. And that's pretty much going to finish it for the imps. So I just exhaust their card, make sure it's turned sideways to let me know that the imps are all done. And then we're headed back to the initiative deck. Alright, here's my hand of invader cards. I still have these available to me to play. I don't see any particular reactions on these cards. Most of them are probably going to modify the demon's actions. But that was who acted first. Now we need to go to who is next. Invader or Marine. Alright, it's our Marine's turn. Let's see what kind of devastation he's going to bring upon these invaders. Alright, Marine time. Here is our deck of cards. You see we have the combat shotgun. We've got 2 cards actually identical here. And then we have the super shotgun. 1 of 3 cards from that. So it looks like some of these are going to give us some movement. This icon represents a main action. There is another little icon that represents some sort of supportive action or something. You can take it in addition to a main action. So each of these is your action for the turn. So I need to carefully select this unless a card lets me do more than one thing. So if we look at the double barrel, you may perform this attack 1 additional time. That's pretty good. Doesn't look like we're really moving around. It looks like we're just sort of popping off shots from where we're standing. So we have a range of 3 on this. And from our current position, 1, 2, 3, we're not going to be able to hit anybody. So the imps have done a good thing of moving out of the range of this particular attack. Here we've got shotgun maneuver. This is probably what we're going to need to do. It says you get 4 movement, and then you can make an attack with a red and a black die with a range of 4. And it says after you resolve this card, you may play another combat shotgun card, but its speed is 0. So you basically blast and then cock it and shoot again. So maybe that's what we want to do. See if we can move up a little closer and shoot at either one imp and take him down, or shoot at one and then the other. So let's play shotgun maneuver with a speed of 4. Our Marine's going to take off and go 1, 2, and he technically has line of sight on that imp number 2 there, and he's got line of sight on imp number 3. So we're very close to imp number 2. Why don't we go ahead and give this a shot? Remember, that's going to use a black and a red, so a little better than what the imps were using. Move our cards down, give us a little room for some die rolling. And we've got a result of 4. So what do the black dice have on them, and how are they different from the red? Well, I don't see any blanks for first off. We do have 2 single wounds, 2 doubles, maybe 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3, yeah. And then we've got a 3. Do we only have 1 3? So I may be counting wrong, but as you can see, it's a little better than the red. So, gosh, what did we roll? 4? I think that's what we rolled. I distracted myself. 4 damage to the imp, and as you can see on the imp's card, their health is only 3. So if he doesn't block some of this, imp number 2 is toast. So we do the same thing. We take the top card, and he has absolutely nothing on this one. So imp number 2 just got splattered and taken out of the game. So we'll remove his figure and number from the board. Well, how many spaces did we move? 1, 2. So we still have 2 movement left. I'm wondering now if I ought to keep a little die or something on the table to calculate remaining movement points. It might be worthwhile to do. So still have a couple of movement points left. I think we do want to spend it. And, you know, I'm not sure if I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. There was something about you can't spend movement points during an attack, and I've been really trying to understand what that means. But I moved 2 spaces, I made an attack, and I'm going to move 2 more, and then I can play another card, so I should be fine. So, move 2 spaces, shot the gun. We're going to move 2 more. 1, 2, and we're going to get, this may be suicide, but I'm lining up my line of fire down this hallway to see if I can get some more of these guys. However, I don't know if this is so smart. I'm basically going to be giving all of them line of sight on me, and we know the soldiers are up next. That might be a foolish move for the Marine to do. Probably it is. We don't want him in line of sight when his turn is ending. So let's have him move. I don't know, he can shoot from there. Maybe we don't even have to move from there. Maybe he can move over into the corner after he resolved this next attack. Well, let's see. We're going to go ahead and play a second shotgun maneuver because it said we could. And we do have another one. It's actually the identical card. We're going to play that with a speed of 0. I still think we have 2 movement left over. So let's make this attack against imp number 3. Only 2. We're not taking him down. What kind of defense does he have against this? Whoa, he's got the special symbol. That's interesting that came up. Let's see what that means for an imp. We look down here on the bottom corner of the card. It may be different for different creatures. But if we get the special symbol, that gives him a complete dodge. So that nimble little fellow just dodged all of that damage. So, if I'm not mistaken, we still have 2 movement points remaining on our turn. I'm going to have him step over into this corner, sort of reloading his shotgun. And that's going to end it for the Marine. Well, we pretty much know who is up next in the initiative order. We've got our last demon group, and that's going to be the possessed soldiers. So let's bring their card over. These guys, what is that, a speed of 4. They've got a little better attack, and they've got 5 health. And let's look at their card a little more closely. It says muscle memory. So these were once Marines who were then sort of possessed and transformed into these soldiers, and they're trained killers. So while attacking, you may re-roll 1 die. That's pretty good. So what are we going to have them do? Let's get up a little closer to the board and see what kind of tactical decision making we can make here for the possessed soldiers. They can move through friendly spaces at no cost. You can move through enemy spaces, but it's sort of like difficult terrain. It costs an additional movement point to do that. So with a movement of 4, we want to put these guys just within line of sight of our Marine. So let's think about this. 1, 2, 3. We could have a shot around the corner, and then he could duck back. So if he went 1, 2, 3, and then number 4 attempted to take his shot there. So even though the Marine is behind a wall similar to this one, we can draw an uninterrupted line from a square to his square, and that means he's got enough to make a shot. I think in the advanced rules he would have cover, and we'll talk about that in a future play, but this will be a straight shot. So a black and a red are the attack dice. And we got a really good roll. I don't think I'm going to re-roll either one of those. That's 4 damage to the Marine. We take the Marine's top card, and he only blocks 1. So another 3 damage to the Marine. That's a total of 6. And the possessed soldier, didn't he have 1 movement point left over? Let's have him circle around behind there, and just sort of like we're seeing on the other side, they're both sort of tucking in behind that wall, giving themselves cover from each other. We've got 1 more soldier to go. That was number 4. He's done. Let's bring up number 5. He's got a movement of 4, and he's all the way down the hallway a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think he's going to be able to really do much right now. It would be great if we could press the attack. And, you know, a pretty good question might be, can you shoot through enemy-occupied squares? So let's say that possessed soldier was able to move all the way across here and get in line behind that imp and possessed soldier. Could he make an attack? Well, not through the wall, of course, but just if you have some figures in front of you, can you attack? And I think the answer is yes. But I think in the advanced rules there may be cover involved. Let me double check that. According to the tutorial battle, as long as you're not going through a black line like a wall or a solid red line like this, you're fine. So I think he should be able to fire through friendlies, and well, any figures really. That's what it looks like from the tutorial. Let me know if that's wrong, if anybody knows better. But I still don't think he can get over there from his position. If I just move that door down for the moment, you can see where he is. If we count 1, 2, 3, 4, he's just going to get to the end of the hallway and not have line of sight. So I think to protect him and the imp, we want to spread them apart a little bit. Let's just have the possessed soldier maybe step back and down so that he's just not technically adjacent. We don't want to give that Marine any chance to get any bonus damage on us from the scatter of the shotgun. So I think that's possessed soldier number 5, just taking a single step back, and that will take us through the whole round. So I think what we do at the end of the round is we prepare to go into the next status. So we would refresh any of these exhausted cards. I think we draw back up to our hand size. So where our Marine here only has 1 card left in his hand, a Marine usually holds 3 cards at a time. He's going to draw 2 more to go back to 3. And I think the Invader has 4 cards in his hand. Perhaps he goes back up to 6, which is the hand limit for the Invader. So I think that's going to wrap up round number 1. I think I'll stop it there. And I certainly am going to pick up the speed as we go along. I'm playing this step by step to help those of you that are new and to help me learn it. And to also make sure that if I've made any mistakes and someone who knows better can tell us, perhaps I can make the adjustments before we move on to the next round. So if you spotted any mistakes, let me know. Otherwise, I hope this helped everybody. And I'm certainly having fun getting to know the Doom board game. So take care and catch me for round 2 soon. Thanks, everybody.